Hello students, welcome to my channel Easy Studies by Preeti. Today we are going to complete the chapter Indian Economy on the Eve of Independence in our part 3. In the part 2 we studied about the foreign trade, demographic profile and the occupational structure. In this video we will cover up the infrastructure and the challenges that our newly independent country got from the Britishers. When we discuss about infrastructure, we discuss about the development of railways, ports, water transport, posts and telegraphs. These all the telegraphs, they were brought in order to maintain law and order under the British rule, and these railways, roads and other transports that were developed, they were not for the benefit of the Indians, but they were to serve the colonial interest. So when we talk about the roads during the British periods, these roads, they were built, whatever these roads they were built primarily with a view to mobilizing the army within India and to transport raw materials from the countryside to the railway station or the port to send to England. That means why they built these roads? They were interested in making these roads because this helped them to easily carry the raw materials to the ports so that they may be sent to England to England where these raw materials were required for the industries. Then comes the railways. Railway, it provided cheap and rapid transport. It broke the geographical and cultural barriers and thus promoted unity. It created new employment opportunities. It promoted foreign trade. Railways facilitated faster movement of food grains across the nation. It also encouraged the process of industrialization by ensuring smooth flow of raw material and finished goods. It encouraged commercialization of agriculture, which had destroyed the self-sufficiency of the Indian villages. And the railways, they were only built about the railway tracks. Their distance was about 53,596 kilometers of this railway system was at that time. Then this was the basic infrastructure, means such as railway, ports, water transport, posts, telegraphs. They were developed and the railway sector was well developed, and it was a crucial contribution by the Britishers. Unknowingly, they did something for us which was for their benefit. Then we have the infrastructure. When we discuss about the infrastructure, we discussed about the roads and the railways. Then we have the air and water transport. As far as water transport was considered, there was severe competition from foreign shipping companies, and when we talk about the air transport, there was lack of support from the British rulers in India. Though in 1932 Tata Airlines was established, inaugurating the aviation sector in India. Then when we talk about the communication, in the field of communication, modern postal system in India, it was started in 1837. And the telecommunication services were also introduced in India in order to enhance the administrative efficiency. They were not for the Indians. However, the development of communication services before independence, that means before independence, the development of these communication services was very low. Then we will be discussing about the challenges that the Britishers gave to India on the eve of independence. First, the policies of the British rulers it led to the exploitation of the Indian economy, as we studied in our previous lectures, that it was a very stagnant economy. Then these British rulers, they grossly neglected irrigation facilities and technological upgradation in India's agriculture. As when I was in my agriculture video, I had told you that there was high uncertainty in the agricultural field. The farmers were not sure that how much they are going to produce, will they have production or they will not have. Then these British rulers, they forced the Indian farmers to pay more attention to the production of cash crops than food crops. Why more attention was paid towards the cash crops? Because they were needed in the British industries. Then there was deliberate measures were adopted to destroy the handicraft industries of India. Why? Because they wanted to establish their own market, and in order to establish in the market, they had to get rid of the rivals. And here in India, these handicraft workers, they were their main rivals. Then the policies of the British rulers that led to exploitation of India, of the Indian economy. The points that will be discussed in that, some more points are that there was no protection provided to India's infant industries for a quite long time. Why they didn't provide any protection? Because they were only thinking about the benefit of their home country. Why? And the attention was only paid to those fields where they had some benefit. So there was heavy import duties were imposed on the use of Indian ships for trading between England and India, and financial and banking institutions were not promoted in the country. Then there was a discriminatory trade policy. It was adopted, under which the British traders were given government protection and help, while Indian traders had to bear various types of restrictions. Because of this, India was reduced to an exporter of primary goods and importer of British manufactured goods. That means the discriminatory trade policy here means that the import and export to Britain, they both were tariff free. Although we know that more than 50% of the foreign trade was done with Britain. So if these both were free, then was there any earning? Obviously not. And India was turned into a supplier of raw material and importer of British manufactured goods. They found a very good market here in India, and this British capital, it was invested mainly in those industries which would serve British interest rather than India's interest, as I discussed before. Hence, foreign capital investment in India during colonial period, it gave birth to the distorted economic pattern. Then there was some positive contribution also of the British rulers. That is, the effective administration that we have now, it is a gift of the Britishers to India, as they started the ICS services in India. Similarly, on that pattern, we have the Indian administrative services. Then the infrastructure development also we owe to the Britishers. That is, the railways they bought first in India. When we consider countries like Nepal, which were never under the Britishers, we find that they are still not developed. They have very less industries. Railways also means not a remarkable position of railways we see there. Then the commercialization of agriculture also is means we owe to the Britishers. Then the monetary system of exchange. So thanks for watching my video. Hope you people liked it, and if you liked it, then subscribe to my channel in order to get more information about my upcoming videos.